What's up everyone, Aaron Limpany here with Aaron Limpany Design, and today's video will be a short one. We're just going to answer a question from one of my subscribers who asked me to show some use cases of this particular slide that we built last week. Now, if you missed that construction video, I've put a link to it on your screen now and in the description. So let's jump right into the use cases. Overall, in general, this slide is going to be outstanding for making comparisons between multiple items, and you can absolutely change the number of these bubbles that appear on each slide. You could delete the 2 on the right and just have 1 bubble. You could duplicate all of these and have 6. You could put 9 on here. You can do whatever you want with these bubbles. This is just a great way to compare anything in percentages. I've got 4 use cases for you today, 2 in education and 2 in business. Now the first one is just a quiz. So if you have a class, maybe you're teaching a high school course on science and you're covering an energy unit, you might ask your class a question to engage them, such as, about what percentage of the world do you think uses some form of each of these power sources? And you could start with wind. Your class throws out some guesses. Some might guess low, like 10, 20%. Some might guess high, like 80, 90%. And then you would click to reveal the answer, 51%. Now caveat, these are not real numbers. I haven't looked up the exact number of countries. I'm just using this as an example. So you would just go through, click each of these and reveal the approximate percentages, and you would tell the class this would be 51%, 40%, and 68%. Now, if you'd rather the class focus on the slide itself and see these numbers visually, I've got an answer for you there too. So on this particular slide, I have swapped out the clicked in icons for the percentage scores. So when you click on each of these, it reveals the percentage and the class could then see it rather than you just telling them. But either way, you're visually showing a comparison between 3 items. And in this case, we'd see, a lot of people are using hydro, not as many solar, and a moderate amount wind. So this slide in general is going to be perfect for comparisons. Now let's look at some examples of corporate uses. In a corporate setting, this is again going to be very useful when you need to compare multiple items in terms of percentages. So in this first example, let's imagine that there is an all hands meeting, such as a global town hall or a regional meeting, just something where you have a ton of employees and you have an executive team that's presenting information to those employees. Now you don't want this meeting to be only a one-way street, so you want these employees to feel very engaged with the meeting and the content. So it's great to ask questions or have reveals. So in this case, let's imagine that a company has had a running competition going on where there are 3 teams, and this meeting is taking place when they're about halfway through this competition. Now, to motivate all 3 teams to do even better and close out their projects on time, the CEO is going to reveal the completion status of each team's project as they've reported it. Now, obviously, this would be an estimated metric that they're giving, but for the sake of competition, it could be very helpful. So they'd start with wind, and we'd see Team Wind come in here, and again, this would be about 51%. See Team Solar, this would be about 40%, and then we'd see Team Hydro, and this would be about 68% again. Now, you don't actually have to say the percentages in a situation like this. The CEO could just say, Team Wind is a little over halfway done, Team Solar is not quite halfway, and Team Hydro is a little over 2/3 of the way done. That right there would be enough to motivate each team, and without getting specific, it could be more encouraging than providing the exact percentages. However, if you wanted to provide those exact percentages, you could do so as well on this slide. Now there's one more use for this particular slide, and that would be in something like a shareholders meeting or just a project update. Let's say you're a project manager or a director and you're trying to provide an update to an executive. In this case, and these are all the energy components of one of your new business strategies. Let's say these are alternative power sources that you're implementing at facilities across the world. You're using a combination of wind, solar, and hydropower. Now, each one of these projects is going to be done when you get to 100% completion. That means all of the wind power that you're installing at your facilities around the world has been installed, all the solar has been installed, and all the hydroelectric has been installed. Now in this meeting, it would be great if you could present numbers that are ahead of schedule. So if you are ahead of schedule and you want to add some drama and really emphasize how far ahead of schedule you are and how well the project is going, then these reveals are awesome. Someone is going to be very intrigued by looking at this slide. It's super clean, it looks great, it's clear what the subject matter is, but they're still not sure exactly how things are going to happen. So you could kind of build this up by saying, We set out to complete this project in a 6-month timeline, and by this point we are supposed to be 30% of the way through implementing each one of these power sources at our locations around the world. However, I am thrilled to announce that we have far exceeded that. For our solar implementation, we've completed 40% of the project, meaning we are 10% ahead of schedule. For wind power, we've completed 51% of the project, meaning we're 21% ahead of schedule. And hydropower, we've completed 68% of the project. We are 38% of the way ahead of schedule. Following these projections, we're going to complete the entire project well ahead of the scheduled time, saving us X amount of money, X amount of time. And that's it. There are a few examples of how you could use this slide, and there are countless other ways that you could use it, but in general, this is going to be a great slide for comparing multiple things or doing dramatic reveals of something like completion percentages. I hope this video helped answer your question, and if you have other questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I am happy to make a video addressing them in the future. In the meantime, please go ahead and click subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified when I come out with more content for you. Until next time, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.